Hey, hello, I'm Kelly, and that's Dorothy. And we're the Boomer Knights because we're old, and she's older than me by a couple of months. Uh, anyway, and I let her know about it. I rib her about it from time to time. Anyway, so today's our first episode of our new podcast here, and it's just kind of a loose run thing. We talk about whatever we want. We both have opinions on politics and on religion and on what else do we have opinions on? What else is my opinion?
That's a good question. Marriage, family,
Marriage, yeah.
child rearing, organizational skills.
The benefits of all of that is that I don't have to think about it too much. She just tells me what my opinion, what my opinion is.
Boomer joke. Did you keep this at Boomer Nights?
Yeah, Boomer Nights.
Oh.
Well, it'll show up. We have to put it in,
Oh, okay.
and it'll go probably down here in the lower part or
Oh,
something.
okay.
I'm not sure what. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about a little bit of a political thing uh, based on something we watched on Tim Pool.
Two things.
And two things.
Mhm.
Based on Tim Pool and his couple of his shows today, segments. One of them has Carl Benjamin on it. He's from England. We love him. Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah.
He's got a great mind and a great way of looking at things and thinking about them. And what's the other one we're going to talk about?
Well, it was about the woman doing the fundraiser because
that was part of his
the N
segment.
word. Yeah, that was
Carl
one
Benjamin.
segment.
Yeah.
Well, that was one segment, and then later Carl Benjamin came in with other salient points
Different
on
things.
it. But they're really very different. But yeah, it was the same.
So Dorothy here, she's really well versed in Carl Benjamin. She's been watching Sargon of Akkad and what Lotus Eaters
LotusEaters.com.
for a long time, years and years. And so I'm going to let her just kind of tell you what the flow of that conversation was between Carl and Tim, and maybe I'll interject once in a while here. And she sits there shaking her head because she doesn't really want to do it, but she doesn't realize she's actually got a pretty brilliant mind and thinks about these things in a great more depth than I do. And that's my opinion, and she can't take it away from me. So
Just tell you what your opinion should be.
yes.
Um, I'm shaking my head at the flow of the conversation. Did not do that at all. A couple of things stood out to me. And one is that Carl Benjamin was making a point about character attributes. And this is what I caught onto it. He'll probably look at this, or no, he would never look at this. Someone will actually bring the point up to him at some other point. And he'll say, no, that's not what I meant at all. But that's what I took from it. Basically, your character and somebody else's character. There's your character, somebody else's character. The society as a whole has a character, and each group within society has a character. And those character attributes need to be thought about. You need to be thinking about your own character and the choices that you make. I think everybody actually is on board with that, no matter which side of the political spectrum you're on, or religious spectrum even. You're thinking about, well, what's best based on your understanding of religion and God and society and your intellect and the environment that you're in. So that's great. I think everyone's on board with that. But I hadn't thought about or even pictured that the group you are belonging to has a character as well. And your choices are going to influence the overall character of that group that you're a part of, as well as their character attributes are going to be pressuring you in what decisions you make. And the individual groups and their characters within a society is going to be impacting the whole of society. Go ahead.
I would replace the word pressure with influence.
Yeah.
I don't want to think that my religious organization. We belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I don't want people to think that they pressure us into
Yeah, correct.
uh, whatever,
Influence
but
us.
they influence us
They teach,
on how we think and
Correct.
how we feel. And quite frankly, at least for me, I think I can speak for Dorothy as well. For the time that I've been a member of the church, which is my entire life, um, it's just been my life. It hasn't. What I feel and think magically agrees with what the church teaches, if that makes any sense. In other words, they're not teaching me uh, things and then I go, oh yeah, that's a really cool idea. I'm gonna have to think about that for a while. It's probably something I've already thought about, or it just makes so much sense. I have to believe it's how I've always thought. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it influences, but I feel absolutely no pressure from the church
Okay.
on anything. I want to
Well,
make that
I'm
clear.
glad you that out, but Carl Benjamin had a kind of a different take on it, and that is that he pointed out that if you're going to take a stance that is contradicts whatever group you are in, then you're going to get pushback. Maybe you're not invited out, you're not included, you may get called names, you may get ostracized, you may lose children, excuse me, or not children, employment or contact with children. We see it happening all the time. The left has its people will call up their boomer parents and divest from them. Uh, um, um, so I do think that he made a good and a valid point about that, that we need to be thinking about how our decisions are being shaped, but also how we're shaping that community and can continue to shape it. If you want to push your community that you're a part of into a more positive, we can't have those two close
Together, yeah.
into a more positive environment, you have to accept that responsibility and do what you can to reinforce the good. So Tim and Carl were talking about race relations in the United States. He had some really harsh, I think, harsh things to say about the Black community, but then so does Tim Pool from time to time. Um, but it's valid, harsh but valid, in that he's requiring that all members of the community, not just those we want to determine as the out group or um, the too rowdy or the too rambunctious or whatever word you want to put on them. It's not just them, it is the entire group that is shaping that character, the character of the group. And it can be turned around, but responsibility has to be taken for music, art, literature, and the way that we react. So that brings us to the first portion of Tim's um, broadcast today, and that was about uh, the woman who used the N word, and now she's saying, "I'm afraid for my children. Help me protect my family," and has raised over $600,000. I don't know what the current amount is.
600 and
It doesn't matter. More than 600,000 is a bunch. That's right, and um, it's kind of pushback for the young man who stabbed another person and has raised basically an equal amount. Over 500,000. He made
600,000 too.
okay, so 600,000 as well. Huge sums of money to just make a point. Do you stand with your group?
Yeah.
But we have to be accepting responsibility of saying, I stand with this group, but I need to push back against some of the more negative aspects of it. And I, for one, think I understand this outrage, this feeling of I just can't take it anymore. I'm tired of this. Some of that is social media, because social media will flood you with certain things. And X is about the only social media I'm on. Um, you have to be aware that it will give you what you want to hear. So if you're already in a position where you want to see how badly white people are treated, or you want to see how badly black people are treated, you'll find it wherever, and it'll be just be fed to you over and over again. You have to be aware of that. And two, you have to be thinking, is my response, not only is it proportional to what I see happening out there to me, or to, in this case, to this young woman, her child, but will my response further escalate things? Or is my response going to help shape my side of the argument in a positive way? Um, so give us your thoughts. I've been talking a long time.
So, in my opinion, everything she just said was accurate. Because we really do share the same opinion pretty much on everything. The other thing I want to talk about, though, is in the news recently, Trump is talking about giving a $5,000 per child, um, not a credit or anything, just I guess he's just going to give them $5,000.
Or it's being floated that that's a proposal people want to see pursued.
It'll just go being into their checking account, I guess, or whatever.
Maybe like a tax refund.
Yeah, but we were talking about it and we thought, you know what would happen to society if instead of the government just giving $5,000 per child to a couple, and we hope that it's couples, we don't feel that it would be right to just give them to any woman who has a baby and not married, single, whatever the case. We feel that we need to be building families. We have 5 children. We have 12 grandchildren. Mm-hmm. We believe in the family unit, and so we hope that that's the direction that they're going to go, if that's what they're going to do. But we had a thought that we feel might be a better idea, and that is to ease up on the regulations that say that men and women must get paid the exact same amount for the exact same job. For example, let's say that you have a single woman in a company and she's a director, whatever director,
or something.
Director level, a D level employee. And then you have a man who is an equal director level employee. And they both have the same basic responsibilities. They have a group of people that they're responsible for directing, managing. They have the same basic educational background, work background, because typically at that level you have certain requirements.
Expectations.
Yeah. But what would happen if the man who has 3 kids at home and his wife to take care of them was if the company was allowed to negotiate his contract for his income based on his needs to provide for his family. So instead of the government giving him $5,000 per child, he gets $15,000 and it's a one-time deal and you're done and gone. His employer's allowed to pay him more on on his salary than what the single woman with no children would get paid.
Yeah, correct.
And that would remove the the pressure on the government and on the taxpayer, where they get their money from us, and put it on the employer, and the employer could negotiate that contract or not negotiate it. It's between the two people. That's where that contract should exist, is between the employer and the employee, but it gives the employer the freedom and the option to be able to pay his male married father employees more so that they can do a better job of taking care of their children. Now, I'm going to let Dorothy tell you about the societal impact of that because we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I think she had a really good way of looking at the security of society, the benefits to society of stay-at-home moms.
Correct. There's absolutely no recognition given to women from, I'm sorry, beat you all up. There's no recognition given to women for their contribution when they're at stay-at-home mom. I was a stay-at-home mom. We've been married 40 years. While raising our kids, I was full-time at home for 15 straight years. And then as they got older and better able to take care of themselves, I took small jobs here and there until they were in high school. And then I worked briefly full-time. But my point is, I got no recognition for that. My husband got no recognition for that. It's an important role. We stabilize families, we stabilize communities, we stabilize our country. And what we're trying to accomplish in building back up the population so that we're in a sustainable population growth needs to have somebody who's focused on that. And treating men and women equal in the workplace is not, I mean, that is the mantra of today, but maybe it just should not be because it is not serving us. It is not helping our society. We are not growing and developing. Children are being damaged. Think about that. My heart breaks for women who have to bring their child to a daycare and drop their children off so that they can go into work and the child's crying and the mom's crying and everybody's upset, at least right at first, until things mellow out and everybody gets used to it. Well, why should children have to get used to that? I was so opposed to it when we were first married and I was having young children that I wouldn't even be the caregiver because to me, I was helping prop up a system that's designed to fail, and it's designed to leave the most vulnerable among us in a position where they should never be put into. They should have their parent caring for them, not a stranger. That's a little personal aside. But also think about a woman who is working. She's getting her taxes taken out for Social Security. She gets her taxes taken out for income tax, what at state, federal levels. All of the taxes are being taken away from her. And now we're going to spend even more money to give to someone else to have a baby. And it's going to come out of her paycheck. How is that reasonable when she just most likely wants to be at home with her child? Her own children need her and deserve her, and we need to find a way. Now, we floated one idea. It goes against the EEOC, and all the feminists would have their heads blown off if they ever really pay attention. I'm sorry. If they paid attention to us, I should say. They probably won't. But it's not serving us right now. And we have to think about how our government regulations are going to serve us. And it might require some, changes on a more fundamental level in our laws. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I was a homemaker. I'm just.
But we raised a lawyer.
Yeah, that's right. We raised a lawyer. Law, so he can really help us here.
Um, we are very so she mentioned before that she was a stay-at-home mom for 5 kids. Um, 3 of those kids went on to college. 2 of them finished their bachelor's degree. 1 of them went on and became an attorney. Our youngest son chose blue collar work and is quite good at what he does. He takes care of battery driven forklifts in huge warehouses. And he's extremely good at what he does. We're very proud of all of our children for the work that they do.
Our other son was a Marine.
Yeah, our middle son was a Marine.
He's out on 100% disability. We're proud of him and his sacrifices he's made. And we're also grateful for all the help and assistance he gets. But he's right. Everybody made their own choice.
So our younger daughter is works in the medical field. She does work. She and her husband both work, and they have two wonderful, cute little boys. Not
Little.
little,
They're
but
getting bigger.
they're getting bigger. And then our older daughter has a degree in literature, and she's an author. I can't tell you what her pen name is. I think she'd probably scream at me. She wants to sell books, and she is selling books.
That's right.
And we're very proud of all of our children. But my point in that is that um, they were raised by their mother and taught correct principles from her as a stay-at-home mom. And we feel that we were blessed. We were poor. We are
Still poor.
we're still poor. We have nothing. Um, we have each other. We have our 5 kids, and we have 12 grandkids. So we have everything. Um, anyway, that's today's episode. Who knows what it's going to be on the next episode? We don't know. Uh, tomorrow we'll figure something out and we'll talk about it. It could be religion, could be politics, could be cancer. You can see here, my sweet little wife doesn't have a lot of hair. I've got more on my chinny chin chin than she has on her heady head. Um, but maybe we'll talk about cancer. I don't know what we'll talk about, but we do invite you to subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends about it.
Share.
It's a little bit of chaos, but we are the Boomer Knights, and we love who we are, and we love that we have an opportunity to share with you our thoughts and our feelings. So with that, we'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.